Warm welcome to the beautiful game. So finally, Ghana Premier League is set to start on the 4th of February and be sure of 30 weeks of grilling experience in football. But on the show today, first of all, we'll talk to Coach Enos Adepa, get to know our fixtures for this week, and we get to know the stories that are making waves surrounding our league. But first, we speak to Captain Hafiz Adams of Wild Stars.
The motivation was all about the target we had for ourselves. Our technical team made us to know that we have to do something for ourselves this season. That was the motivation that keeps us moving. It was not monetary issues, it was just about the talk that is being given to us. Then we see to that, yes, if I have to finish in top 4, or the latter part of it, I see to that I can be a champion of the Ghana Premier League. Why then wouldn't I work hard and we see what happens? So that was the motivation we have, not about gift or money issues, no. It was just about the talk in which we are getting back from our technical members. That is what pushes us to win this trophy. The changing of the environment was something that made us relaxed, because if we were still to be in Ghana, I don't think even coach might sometimes say, my friend, let's go to training. You say, this you'll be having some issues because of the length of the preseason. But we moving from Ghana to Saudi Arabia, it was a successful one over there because of the atmosphere we had at that place. The environment and even the nature of the place alone was something that we loved, and that helped us a lot before we could come, because we came back to Ghana some 3-4 days before kickoff, and we had to play our home match in our own backyard, and it was the welcome address. Rather unfortunate for our friends, secondly Hazakers, we welcomed them with a good resource in our own backyard, so that the people knew that yes, whatever happens in Saudi Arabia, they are to see it more in Ghana. So that is what happens today. We are champions. Before our match against Asafok, they were on top of the table. We were on second position by then. But previously, if I may say previously, because looking at previous seasons, playing at Accra Sports Stadium has been a grounds, if I may say, for the club for our stars, because it has always been successful at that place. It was only last season we lost. For the previous 2-3 seasons, anytime we get to Accra Sports Stadium, we take the maximum 3 points back to our own backyard in Wa. So before we moved to that game, we knew to it that they were first at the table. If we win that match, we are going to be first position. So we know that we have to do all our possible best just to take that 3 points, then to be at the first position before we can go back home, then play our home match. So that game was something everybody tuned their mind to, that we have to win that game by all means. That what I mean by all means, we have to get the maximum 3 points, nothing else but the maximum 3 points. That made us to win that game, because when they were 2 down, they came back and they equalized when it was 2-1. The pressure was on us. That was the time. Less than 3 minutes, we have to seal the game. The third goal came. That was how we ended the game, and we were relaxed. Then we were doing our own things in the field of play just to kill time. Coming to our coach issue, if I may say, he has been successful with us. He has been somebody, if you see us with him, you see to that we are brothers. Nothing like, oh, I'm the coach, I'm this. No. We all play, we all joke. When it gets to business, we are into the business aspect of it. That alone was something that makes us know that you have to be free in whatever we are doing in the field of play, because we have nothing against us. He made us to understand that relaxed and enjoy playing football, which we call him the scientific man, the scientific coach. So we enjoy being with him throughout the season, and God Almighty Allah bless us all with this trophy. So he has been somebody successfully. We thank him and we appreciate what he did for us from the beginning till where we are now.
So that was Hafiz Adams of Wild Stars. But with me here is Redwan Ibrahim Asante, citizen journalist with Joy FM. Redwan, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Abigail.
Okay, so that was Captain Hafiz Adams of Champions Wild Stars. I think they had a very good run from their preparations into that season. And what do you make of what he said?
He summed it up. He was an embodiment of their story, success story. He led them to win the title. Second time he was captain of the side. He's come through the junior side, and he's homegrown talent as well from WA. So he's a through, Wild Stars, body, and I think he really sums it up for the club, and he proved that with determination and a bit of ambition, you're able to achieve the ultimate, and that's what they did.
Amid the season is set to start in less than 2 weeks. You think they can repeat that feat?
It will be very, very difficult, extremely difficult for Wild Stars. We've seen teams suffer, the curse of being champions. I think in recent times, or in the start of the new millennium, if my memory serves me right, it's been Haas and Kotoko who've been able to, defend back-to-back, titles. Other than that, we've seen, teams win and go, with latterly saying Chelsea, Diana Stars all winning and failing to defend the title, after the following season. Also, Ash Gold suffered the same fate. So it will be very, very tight, and they must, prove that they will be the first non-traditional club, to achieve such a feat of, defending the Premier League title.
Because they are champions, they have this African assignment ahead, and it looks like you said, it's more like a curse. The minute you win the championship and going into Africa, then everything just falls apart. You think with the backing of the president of the Football Association as the owner of the club, you think they're going to have it right in Africa?
Africa is a different terrain, but they've had a feel of it. They went to Sudan, they played against the champions of the Sudanese League, that's Al Hilal, and they were beaten by 3-1. Good experience. It was played under floodlights in the night. There was huge attendance. So it's good, dress rehearsal or road test, for Wild Stars, ahead of their Champions League, game. They are going to play against a North African side, that's Ali Tripoli from Libya. And when Tripoli, the side from Tripoli comes in, I think Wild Stars should be able to, have a strong squad to meet the test, because by that time they would have played, some 2 or 3 games in the league, and that will test their resolve, for that huge test in Africa. They also trained in Dubai for some days before coming down. So they are well conditioned, if you ask me, and I think they should, be able to stand the test.
A lot of news are making waves concerning our Premier League, but quite disturbing is that the Accra Hearts of Oak are without a coach with less than 2 weeks to start the season. Redwan, is that a problem?
It should be. You have the man to take the big decisions, not in the team's camp. That's a huge, problem. And I think Hearts of Oak know that they can't start, the season this way. They needed somebody to have stepped in, worked on the boys. It's going to be the same excuse story of, I'm new and I'm still getting to know my players, whilst your competitors would have taken off. If it's going to take 2 months to adjust and know the players of Hearts of Oak, or if it's a foreign coach and without African experience, that's going to be, double jeopardy. He must first, acclimatize to whatever conditions we have here in Ghana, and then second, he must also know about the culture of the players, their attitude, whether some will surprise them. It's a big worry, and I know they'll be thinking who's going to, take charge. If not, then I think Wellington should be appointed as the substantive coach, since he's been with them through pre-season.
And now about Wellington, why would they appoint him as assistant when, like you're saying, it will be just prudent to name him as the head coach? And he's doing the job. He's played 2 games with Hearts during the pre-season. Yes,
he's known it, and he's been able to see the players that can surprise him and where the faults are, or the errors with his team, or the mistakes. So he might be able to correct them and then lead a charge. I mean, he's not going to be the first, indigenous coach to handle the team. We've seen Polo, Duncan, all pass through. At a point in time, Eddie Ansah was coach of Hearts of Oak. So they've had lots of local coaches, and I don't think he's going to be, new to the system.
So you sign players without a substantive coach. If the coach comes and says, I can't work with these players, what next?
And then it means the management must be fired.
Wow. So that's it with Accra Hearts of Oak. But we're asking, it looks like there's nothing, there's no euphoria, there's no heat about the league that is set to start on the 4th of February. Is it because AFCON has taken over our televisions? But no, after watching Hearts of Oak against Bechem United, Hearts of Oak against Elmina Shagwa, new entrants, there's still no one in the stadium. There are empty seats. It's only the media that is covering the game, right?
Yes, the euphoria is not there. It must be from organization who is organizing the league. They have to take responsibility and say this is what we want to do. There had to be a buzz, around from last month. I mean, the countdown must start a month to the start of the league. So from January 4, there should have been a road show to ensure that the league is going to start. I mean, the clubs can do their bit, but it's up to the league organizer to get everybody, set up to be part of the whole Premier League costume. Everybody must get his share and then play it, and then organize series of press conferences to ensure that, there's awareness created, even in the face of the AFCON. We shouldn't forget Nigeria are playing their league with the AFCON on, so that shouldn't be an excuse, and they have numbers.
Because in the build-up to last season, around this time you hear people making noise about who Kenichi Atuhashi is, and I thought that he brought some excitement as everybody wanted to see what he can do. But now we hear nothing. Drafco is in the system, and there's nothing new to talk about when it comes to the Premier League.
Because Kenichi was exposed, at the tournament, the G6 tournament in Takrady in January before the league started. So people really had a feel of local football, and it was live on television. The production was good. There were faults, minuses and pluses from there, and so it was like a build on when the league started. So I mean, I think it's all about organization and how the organizers should have done things properly. They took their eyes off the ball.
So still on the build-up to the Ghana Premier League, we caught up with Coach Enos Adepa, the youngest coach to have won the Premier League with Wow Stars.
I'm someone who likes challenges. All the time have the ego to be on top. Taking up Wow Stars, I quickly put things together, make sure I bring something on board which might be an historic. I had a meeting with the management thinking that there's a lot of things that they also have to bring on board, because I always say that you might have the best coach, have the best players. If the management are not well constructed to put their things in order, what they also have to bring on board in terms of the players' need, you can achieve your goal.
He walks with the trophy and goes onto the podium and eventually to the coach, Enos Adepa.
The good on the title succeed. All I would say is, at the northern sector, there haven't been any club have gotten to this far. So we even crossing all the way to win the title. To be honest with you, to be very, very honest with you, it is like having the whole world in your palm. Because I'll tell you, we have the team, the management, everybody with the team. We have made a very, very, very big history. Because I know he who reads history is not remembered by he who makes history. It means a lot to us, very happy, and also challenging. Challenging because coming into the Premier Division, or a team from nowhere or somewhere who have tried several occasions not getting there and reaching to the highest level, much will be expected from us. That is why I'm saying it's going to be very, very challenging. And me, in person, you will see other clubs elsewhere will be knocking at your door. It's left to you to take a good decision, proper plan, if you have to make a move or to continue where you are. If am I to continue where I am, I have to make sure that I'm going to put in more than where I started or where I left.
So that was Coach Enos Adepa of Wow Stars. And I'm asking Wow Stars with the coach, I think he made a lot of history with this club. This is his first time taking up such a major post, and he won it. Yes,
he was determined, and you could hear from the interview that he was really keen on winning it on the first time. His huge assignment in his coaching career, and I think he took advantage of that he didn't look at it as a first time.
Yeah.
And so for him, it was just about finishing off, on his debut. And his first season in the Premier League, he nicked it and he nailed it right there. So, I mean, he's done a lot for his CV. He's now one of the respected coaches in the country, and he's young. He's got a lot of years ahead of him.
So looking at his 5 first league fixtures, you think he can survive, combining Africa?
That'll be very, very difficult. It's really difficult for a young team and, an inexperienced squad like Wow Stars, average age 22, it's going to be very, very difficult. I mean, they have to combine games, travel, around and come back quickly for league matches. There will be outstanding cases. They travel the longest distance in the league. So, I mean, I'm imagining you traveling to Libya and then returning to Accra, and you have to fly back to Wa to play a game, and maybe the return you have to also come back in the following week to Accra. It's going to be very, very difficult, for them to adjust. But they did it in the league, and we hope they will be able to also acclimatize by now and then have the experience needed to ensure that they have a successful campaign in Africa and the league.
Okay, so which Wow Stars the best? Not just Wow Stars, but remaining 15 clubs. But quickly, let's go to our fixtures for Matchday 1. So Interlies will play Hearts of Oak, Mediama, Wafa. Dwarfs will welcome Bolga All Stars. Wow Stars play Elmina Sharks. Adriana Stars will be at home to Ash Gold, while Great Olympics will welcome Bechem United. Controversial Temo Youth will play Bekum Chelsea. And finally, the RAFCO leading Asante Kotoko will welcome Liberty Professionals.
Big games, on Matchday 1, Hearts Interlies, Elwak is huge. Likewise, Kotoko Liberty also is a big game.
Yeah.
And then we also have another third, Category A game. That will be Adriana Stars versus Ashanti Gold. That's also going to be a tight one, at the back of their own backyard. Ash Gold have got new, financial backers. Betway, they are ready to, splash the cash. I hope the players will respond to it. They've signed, good players, Latif, Salifu, formerly of Liberty, Bekum Chelsea, in their return from Ivory Coast. Kofi Usu, former Gokin, has also joined them. And with a core players, Enos Adepa, who's in top form, or he was in top form before the end of the season. They are likely to give Adriana Stars returned from Libya. They lost by 3-1 to Ali Tripoli in a friendly. So they've also given their preparation a notch, and they are also the G6 champions. So I mean, it's going to be a very, very tight game. Opening game, I think we'll get interesting matches to report on. Especially
Wow Stars, Elmina Sharks. I think that comparatively both sides have very young players that have the talent in there. There will be more of a physical and then show of talent.
I think it will be a huge one, for the new boys, Elmina Sharks. Yeah. They've also brought in quite a number of players, experienced players. Farouk Mohamed, formerly of Kim Faisal is there.
They have captain from Liberty.
Tetenote is on. They've got striker Felix Ado, also from Liberty. He's also played. He played 3 seasons with Liberty before moving on. A lot of free agents in their camp, and they managed to sign Atubisa as a free agent, also from Ashanti Gold, finishing his contract. So they might be new, but they've got very experienced players. And the last time, Kingsley Ajay from Hazakes has signed to reunite with his former coach, Kobene Misa.
But finally, my worry will be for Liberty Professional. Looks like they've lost a lot of players this season.
Yeah, but they've got the academy system. That's where they've relied on. All the players have come through the academy system. They never spend huge on the market. So they'll fall back to their youth side to see if there'll be talents. They've got a good scouting system, and I hope the scouting system is still in place. It used to be very, very vibrant before the president of the club, who is now deceased, Alaji Tete, passed, some 6 years ago. So if that academy is still in or functioning properly, then I think they shouldn't have any problems.
So already the plus and minuses have started for clubs that are going to kickstart on the 4th of February. So don't be left home, join the field, and let's make our league better. This is a beautiful game.